Hey, casual moviegoers, casual movie guys back here. Today I'm talking about Minions. So Minions is a spin-off of the Despicable Me movies, which I hadn't seen until recently in preparation for the Minions movie, and I really like those movies. I had a lot of fun with them. I think they're very funny and family friendly, and a lot of people of a wide variety of ages can enjoy them. I'm 17 and I had a great time watching those movies. I had a lot of fun with them, and yeah, I just really liked them. So going into this movie, I was really pumped because the Minions are undoubtedly my favorite part of the Despicable Me movies. They provide so much comic relief, and they're just funny little guys. You just can't help but like them. So my biggest problem with this movie is one that I was skeptical about going into it, and it's the fact that when you take a side character in a movie or TV show and you make them a star of their own movie, it can turn out not so great. Now, not to say that this is a bad movie overall, but does have that problem in this movie, and it's the fact that the Minions work a lot better as side characters when they complement Gru and his daughters, like in the Despicable Me films. And another problem with this movie is the fact that it doesn't have that great of a story. It's not bad written at all. It's good comedy. It's well written comedy. I had a lot of fun with it and it was funny, but the story wasn't as good as the first two Despicable Me films. In that one, I was very invested in the story and the characters. I was invested in Gru and how he was going to progress as a character. I thought the daughters added a lot to it, and in this film, there's just not that good of a story. It's a problem that a lot of comedies are having nowadays. It's style over substance. Now, if you see my reviews, you may think that I say that word a lot, but it's happening a lot lately. It's happening with action movies, comedy movies. It's just people are going for a lot of laughs, which you should have in a comedy, but there's no movie, like I said before, there's no movie where it's funny from point A to point B throughout the entire movie. There are some stretches of time in films where there is no comedy and you need to be invested in the story, and in this film I just wasn't. But besides a lack of great story and the fact that the Minions work well as a side character, I had a lot of fun with this movie. The Minions are awesome. I love them. They're just so funny and interesting as little characters. And in this film, you follow three of them. You follow Stuart, Kevin, and Bob. And they work really well as a trio. They're so funny. They have such a good group dynamic, and the chemistry between those three, even though you can't understand a word they're saying, is apparent, and you can get that from your seat watching it on the screen. They just work really well together. Now, in addition to the Minions in this film, you have Sandra Bullock as Scarlet Overkill, who is their new henchman. She's the henchman they find before Gru, and her husband, played by John Hamm. And I really liked those characters. Scarlet Overkill was very funny. She tried to be really menacing, and she was at some points, and she was just a funny overall character. But I think John Hamm as her husband really steals the show. He is just such a funny character. He invents all these weird, cool things. He tries to be funny, and he tries to be menacing, but he fails, and it's just hilarious to watch. And I think those two characters just added a lot more to the movie. They are no substitute for Gru and his daughters, but I think they do an okay job at being the characters besides the Minions. Now, if I'm going to give this movie a score, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 11. It's not as good as I wanted it to be. I wanted to be invested into the story a lot more, but it's still ultimately a very funny and fun movie, which I go to the movies to have fun, so it did its job, but I just wish it could have had a better story overall. And I don't blame them for trying to make a Minions movie, but it turned out as I expected, and the Minions do work better as side characters. It's just a fact. No, it's not a fact, guys. It's just my opinion. I strongly recommend that if you love the Despicable Me movies, and if you just love having a good time with the movies, that you go and see this film. It's a great time. If you have kids, definitely bring your kids to see it. If you have little cousins or nephews that you want to bring to it, bring them too. They'll have a blast. I had a lot of kids in the theater with me, and they were laughing their butts off. They had a great time, and that's all I have to say. I'm the Casual Movie Guy. If you want to hear more from me, you should definitely hit that subscribe button. Make sure to like this video, check out some of my other ones, and I am out.